Common sense is finally coming back to BC rental rules. As of April 9th, the NDP government is reversing some of the changes they have made when it comes to giving notice for personal use from a landlord to a tenant. Back in 2025, the NDP government made sweeping changes to rental rules, rental restrictions, and things of that nature, increasing the notice from 2 months to a period of 4 months, both for personal use and if you were selling the property. We felt on the real estate side of things and as a property owner that these were very, very restrictive and was hurting the landlord in the long run. And I know that advocacy groups with this article that I'm going to share with you are saying this is an attack on tenants. But keep in mind here, let's not lose focus. Landlords are the one with all the risk. And just look at the world right now with these tariffs, with the interest rates. We have record number of mortgage renewals in 2025 and 2026, and people are having a hard time with inflation. People are losing their jobs, and if you are being very restrictive with the property that you actually own and you cannot sell it, people are losing money. People are being handcuffed with how they can move properties, because from the position of someone who owns property, if you have a property on market and with these notice dates of 4 months, 4 full months of notice, a closing date can turn into almost 5 months, and a typical closing date in real estate is about 2 to 3 months. So in cases, there would be many buyers who would not even want to put an offer in on a rented property because the closing dates would just not work. They already sold a property and needed to move into something sooner. They were renting, they had to give notice. So it was really restricting property owners, which we felt was very, very unfair when it came to these rules, because you own the property and it was now outside of the homeowner's control if they wanted to dispose of it. As we get into the article here, you can see right off the top, I've already alluded to it, an attack on tenants. Advocacy group says BC rule changes favor landlords. Landlords will only need to provide tenants 3 months notice when taking back a property for their own use. Let's get into the article here. But before we get into this Vancouver Sun article, my name is Kyle Mark, your Vancouver Realtor, and whether you're looking to buy, sell, invest, or relocate to my beautiful city of Vancouver, make sure you book that discovery call. The information is in the description below. Also, my free home buyer's blueprint, home seller's blueprint are also with the links that you can download for free as well. So let's get in on this attack on tenants, which is advocacy group says BC rule changes favor landlords. As I mentioned before, landlords have all the risk. Having these barriers where it was taking upwards of 4 months, 4+ months to give the proper notice to get out of a property was creating a lot of barriers for homeowners. And with the financial uncertainty, having those barriers was making it very hard to move these properties, and it was putting landlords at risk of losing their properties, not being able to close on their mortgages. And I know from the tenant side of things, people want to say stick it to the man, but a lot of the people here who operate it are a lot of mom and pop investors. They are people that own maybe 1, maybe 2 properties. It's not these conglomerates that own hundreds and hundreds of units. Those people are usually okay. The ones that are hurting were the ones that were owning maybe another secondary property, and they were the ones that were being really handcuffed with these rule changes. Now being moved from 4 months to 3 months and having more than 100 days to find another residence is more than enough time to be able to find a rental in this market. And I understand that it is a lot for a renter to have to be evicted and things of that nature as well. But that's why we also have fixed term tenancies. If you have signed a fixed term tenancy for a year or whatever that term is, you can't get booted out before. And I think sometimes when these changes come in, people get on the bandwagon and start wanting to hurl rocks at landlords. But keep in mind, you have a lot of protective measures. If you have a fixed term tenancy, you're there for the entire fixed term. So if you want to be there for a year or 18 months or however you want to put it down, those have to be respected. Those are not going to be negated. These rules only come into fruition when it's boiled back down to a month-to-month tenancy. Then these rules are changed. But with that being said, I want to make it clear, if you have a fixed term tenancy, this does not negate your tenancy. I do find it funny when these advocacy groups say that this is a war on tenants, when for most cases, landlords feel that the tenants have the bulk of the power. We have restrictions in how much we can raise rate. We have restrictions on how much we can raise the rent. We had complete holds where you couldn't even raise your rent despite inflation going up, despite interest rates going up, despite property taxes going up. I know people will say, get out your tiny violin. It's so sad for the landlords, but the bulk of the people that own these rental properties aren't super wealthy. Just because you own a secondary property does not make you a millionaire in this city. A lot of people have taken equity out and they put themselves in a position to try to move their financial portfolio forward. But in most cases, it's the banks that own these properties, not those individuals. I've seen just with my own properties that I have rented and clients as well, people are not wanting to be landlords anymore, and people have to be very cautious of that because the bulk of the rental properties are from people that own, and there's just hasn't been a lot of respect in terms of the quality of the tenants. More and more, I've seen it myself. I'm on my second straight tenant that I'm having to take to a tribunal because of damage. They don't want to take responsibility. They think it's the landlord's responsibility. There's no respect for the units, and more people are not wanting to invest here and are wanting to sell off those properties. And there's going to be an issue with not having enough rentals again. As more and more of these investors do not want to operate in these conditions here, we are going to start having a lack of supply. And yes, the province has been doing a good job in building, which I also find it funny that people are blaming the province when I'm going to show you these charts later. The whole initiative behind development has been towards purpose-built rentals. It's going to make a better environment for renters. But at the end of the day, my position on this is that the cities and the province and the federal government needs to be in charge of affordable housing. It shouldn't be the responsibility of homeowners. It is a free market. The people who own properties should be free to do what they want. If it makes sense for a certain rent price and people are willing to pay it, that's the free market. The governments should not get intertwined with that, but at the same time, the governments do have a responsibility to create that affordable housing. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean here with one of my charts. So as we move down this article here, you can see that it states a tenant advocacy group says it's worried that the new provincial regulations announced this week could make it easier for landlords to get rid of tenants to increase rents. I'm not sure how that's really going to make an effect. Moving it from 4 months to 3 months to increase rents, I don't know how that can happen. There's already rules in place that if you kick a tenant out and you re-rent it at a higher rate and you're not selling it and you're not moving into it, you will have to pay that tenant 12 months worth of rent. So this doesn't make any sense whatsoever because there are harsh penalties out there for those who are trying to negate the system and swerve around it in this. So this has no bearing whatsoever. If you are a landlord and you're doing something that is not in alignment with the rules and the protection measures for tenants, you're going to get hammered. You're going to have to pay 12 months worth of rent if you're trying to do this. So that doesn't make any sense here. And again, the housing ministry included shortening from 4 to 3 months the notice period a landlord has to give a tenant when taking back the property for their own use. So how insane is it in actuality that you want to move back into your home and you have to wait almost 5 months to get control of that? I mean, that just makes no sense. It used to be 2 months. I think 2 months was a fair number. It's now rolled back to 3. 3 months is more than enough to be able to get control and move back into your unit. Another odd clause to show how restrictive these rules are in the benefit for tenants is this one that they also amended here. It states that another change was shortening from 60 to 30 days the period that landlords have to store a tenant's abandoned items after they leave. And the storage requirement will now apply to items with a minimum dollar value of $1,000 instead of $500. So what does this mean? This is something that I find is absurd. If you are a tenant and you leave anything behind in the unit, as the landlord, you had a responsibility to store these items for 2 months. So someone is living in your home, they've been asked to leave, you've followed the right direction. If they leave items in your property and there was a value of more than $500 with the old rules, you had to store it for 60 days. I mean, that is completely absurd. If someone leaves those items and there are tenants out there that play games, they know the rules, and they really try to navigate around that. Just as there are landlords that try to circumvent rules, there are tenants that try to circumvent rules as well. So, I mean, we need to have an even playing field here. But now they've increased it from $500 to $1,000 and shortened the time from 60 to 30 days. So tell me how that makes sense. In the old rules, if you had more than $500 worth of items, you had to store it for 60 days. And again, I brought up the actual rules here on the housing side of things. And you can see here that the landlords must make a written inventory of items left behind by their tenant in the process for removing a tenant's personal property. It's a good idea to take photos of the items while packing them, as the photos will help show the condition of the property when it was left behind. Storing the items. Generally, the landlord must store the items in a safe place for 30 days to allow the tenant a chance to claim them. However, the landlord can choose to get rid of the items if the items are worth $1,000. It used to be $500, which is a very small number. The cost of removing or storing the items is more than the items are worth. Storage of the items would be unsanitary or unsafe. So this is another item here. If you are asked to leave somewhere, why do you get to leave stuff for 2 months? And then why are you fighting against something like this? This is more than generous, having 30 days of free storage essentially for your time here. So this was another item that was quite interesting in this article here. A quote that I wanted to highlight here, and this comes from the Vancouver Tenants Union, where they said that they were appalled by the new measures. The decision to reduce the notice period for landlord use eviction from 4 to 3 months is a backward step and an attack on tenants in crisis, it said in a statement. Yesterday's announcement is a clear signal to tenants across Vancouver. The provincial government is working with landlords to accelerate our displacement from homes and communities, it added. I mean, that is so insane that they are even making these claims. They're not looking at the data. They're not even looking at what the NDP are doing. And I'm not even a big NDP fan. I have been in opposition to a lot of these things that they've been trying to do in controlling the free market. But in terms of them piling on the NDP government, they have been more than fair to the tenants and made things very beneficial to protect them. Case in point here, look at this chart here. This is Vancouver dwellings under construction, this top right chart here. And what you'll notice here is this orange line. And this orange line here is purpose-built rentals. This is what Vancouver has, not the whole entire province, just Vancouver specifically. And the province has been advocating for this. And you can see that in around 2023, this massive bull run of purpose-built rentals. And the complete pure focus is for these purpose-built rentals. So actually an argument can be made that maybe the province is against homeowners and against people who are trying to get into home ownership because they're trying to flood the market with rentals and are not trying to supply enough resale property for purchase. So you can see that single family, it has essentially been on a flat line since 1990. The condo market, and I've highlighted this in past videos, we were at peak construction, we're coming down. We've been lagging the last few months in terms of condo construction is dropping. The only thing that has been on a huge bull run is purpose-built rentals. So the province and the cities are working in step with the province to try to bring these rental markets to the province and to the cities. I know Vancouver has over 20,000 units, rental units that are going to be coming to the market this year. The rental market is quite flat, and this is going to bring more supply. So this is actually a massive benefit for those who are renters because it's going to continue to see these rental rates continue to drop. So when you hear these news and these advocacy groups, I don't think they're doing their homework. How can you say the province and the cities are not doing their part when you can see all the focus has been put towards rental housing? Single family housing has not improved in 25 years. No one has been complaining about that. Condo construction is dropping. So I think, as I mentioned, easily an argument can be made that the province is now not doing enough to try to bring properties for sale for those who want to own their property and not have an environment where the only option that you have is to rent. So there needs to be a little bit more homework and due diligence in all this. But in closing here, this is a positive step. I know I've had a lot of deals not being able to happen because of these extended notices. And I think especially for personal use, having to wait upwards of 5 months to get access back to a unit is something that was just crazy. If you've lost your job, if you maybe move back here and now you have to make alternate arrangements to get back into your home, 3 months from 4 months, I still think is a little bit too long, but it is a nice meeting place in the middle that I think is more than fair to tenants. I do think it's a little bit long in the tooth for landlords, but in any case, you are now up to date with some of the changes here for rentals. And I do think the province is probably hearing it from people and how a lot of people here are tired of investing. They do not want to buy properties here because of the restrictions for being a landlord. This was a good move from the province, and at the end of the day, some of these reforms were needed. Do they go far enough? Not in my opinion, but no one's going to be super happy whether you're on the tenant side or the landlord side. So if we're somewhere in the middle, I think it works for all parties. Once again, my name is Kyle Mark, your Vancouver Realtor. Make sure you book that discovery call with me in the description below. Download my home buyers and my home sellers blueprint, and I'll see you on the next one.